Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim and I am a reader and a knitter, and today is Vlogmas day 20. So for Vlogmas, I am reading a short story every day from the Hingston and Olsen advent calendar, as well as unraveling a mini skein of yarn from Polka Creek's calendar and updating you with my knitting as I knit along. I am currently knitting a blanket from Stephen West's Hibernating 4 collection. So let's get to the unveiling and find out what I'll be reading and knitting today. So day number 20 of this beautifully designed little short story is titled The Skull, and it is written by Leopoldine-Core, so a new to me author. And Leopoldine-Core is the author of the poetry collection Veronica Beach and the short story collection When Watched. Her fiction and poetry have appeared in the American Poetry Review, Pan America, Apology magazines, and the Best American Short Stories, among others. And this was written in 2023. So I am really looking forward to this book. I find a lot of the times when poets write fiction, it is exceptional. So as for today's advent calendar, it is in a lovely bright shade of blue today. And the little sticker has a garland like the one up, well, you can't see it right now actually, but let's see. Oh, and I think it actually, the blue tissue paper matches the color of the skein. So it's a very, very light blue, and it is called, oh, Frost. So a very, very seasonal name and a seasonal color. So I am going to get reading and knitting, and I will report back to you when I've made some progress.
All right, come on, let's go. Ripley, come on, hon. Let's go. Good girl.
So I finished the skull, and I'm a little bit on the fence about it, which is very Canadian of me, but I will get back to you at the end of this review about it. So a little bit about the story. It is set in New York. It's told in the first person from the perspective of the person with the skull, and it opens up with, I had a skull in my apartment. Now, she's inherited this skull through her uncle, who was an artist who's passed away. It ends up in a box at the back of her closet because she doesn't want to deal with it, but she does want to get rid of it, but she doesn't know how. So she has walked past a very odd sort of memorabilia store in her neighborhood and decides to go in and see if they want this skull. And it's not a creepy store, but it's very, very different, and it has a lot of taxidermy and bones as well. And the narrator, whose name we never learn, becomes extremely emotional about the skull, and I can't figure out why. Um, Especially when it's taken out of the box and examined, and the owner adores it, and the other people in the store come over and they're very intrigued by it, and they see the skull as very unique and very valuable and very interesting, which is the exact opposite reaction that she's had. Um, and at one point, if you're reading this, it's on page 6, she points out the obvious. She says, it was funny in a way to be in an oddity store and treated it as odd, all for giving a skull away for free. So I found that a little bit to point out the topic of the story for me. Now, the reason why I'm on the fence about this book, and I won't go on anymore about the plot because I don't want to give away spoilers, but I'm on the fence because I feel like I've read this story many times before and that it's been done better by different authors. I'm also not liking the title of the book because I thought that something with the name of the skull, I immediately thought it was going to be a horror story. You also can't get away from the fact that if you are in the midst of human bones or a human skull, that of course you're going to contemplate your own mortality, as well as the skull for a lot of people, including myself, is going to bring up that image from Shakespeare's Hamlet of Hamlet playing with Yorick's skull. So those are all the different reasons why it didn't feel um, like a great story. It wasn't a bad story, but I feel it could have been done better. And I was really surprised it wasn't more poetic. If I had read this for the first time, I never would have guessed that this was written by a poet. Um, and I feel like there could have been more done to this to make it more suspenseful and emotional. Um, not much happens in terms of plot or character development either. Um, and that's where I'm gonna leave it. It was okay. As for yarn, I will insert some of my footage of my yarn right here. It is growing and growing and growing, and I have continued to work up just the first of the stripe because I want to determine how long I'm going to make it, and then I'll start filling in the second and the third stripe. But I'm loving the different colors, and I think so far sour apple, which is at the top of the first row, is that really nice green color, is probably my favorite out of all of them. So that's it for Vlogmas Day 20. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe and comment in the description box below. How are you doing? How is your December going? I've also set up a link to Patreon to my account below, and if you're so inclined, that would be very welcome. So I hope that you join me for Vlogmas Day 2. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. See you soon.